All right, so how are you doing? Today is my first video. So, rainbow shrimp fail. Yes, that's right. We're going to be talking about my rainbow shrimp fail. So, I got into the shrimp keeping hobby about 6 months ago. And what I did was I got a little bit of everything. You see those cool pictures online with all the different rainbow shrimp. You've got your reds, your blues, your yellows, your orange, just everything under the sun. I even had black. I was like, oh wow, all these cool pictures online show all these together. Well, that's cool at first until they start having babies. And that's where my opinion of it changed, because I no longer thought it was cool because my babies were all brown. I didn't have rainbow shrimp anymore. So then the culling process got more complicated and it just turned into a disaster. So once the first generation of babies were had in the tank, baby shrimp, I would say that it probably was about 75% colorful and the other 25% were more of the natural colors. From there, it turned into about 50% on the next generation. And then I just started finding more natural than colorful. So what I did was I started every weekend, I would scoop out as many of the natural colored shrimp that I could find. And then I would take them to my local fish store and give them to some of the guys that would just use them in their tanks, not for their look, but more for their cleaning ability. And I did that probably every weekend for 2 months. And my tank wasn't built to really cull as much as I was having to cull. I have somewhere around 1,000 shrimp. And when you have to cull out about 50% of that, it's a disaster. And so now what I'm working on is getting it back to a red shrimp tank, and then I'm going to have different colors in my other tanks. The problem being is I don't know which generation they are, how pure the genes are, so I'm almost having to start fresh other than the red ones. And it's a little disappointing because, as most people know, the shrimp are very expensive. So that is where I'm at, and this process is just beginning. So this is my rainbow shrimp tank. In here, you'll see there are blue, cherry, red really. I've got some black really. I've gotten most of the yellows out. I've gotten a lot of the colors out at this point to kind of prevent it. I also made another mistake. I turned this into a fry grow out tank, and that makes it even more difficult. And at the top, you'll notice I also have a lot of duckweed, which makes it even more difficult when you have to go in and cull. So I've got shrimp, I've got fish, I've got snails, I've got plants, and it's very heavily planted. I've got Amazon swords, I've got different types of mosses. I've got Java, I've got Christmas tree, Subwassertang, I think is the pronunciation. I've got just all different basic level plants, nothing that needs a lot of light or anything like that, but everything's growing. It wasn't this heavily planted when I first started, and it just kind of kept going. As you can probably see some Anubias on there. It's really slow growing and has some nice algae growing on it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to bring some to the front. I'm going to feed them some Tetra Tropical Crisps. Everybody online talks about how great these are, so I've never actually really used them much. So we're going to try it. So let's see what we get. I'm going to go ahead and try to zoom in a little bit. This tank probably looks dirty. I wouldn't really say that it's dirty. I do clean it. I do weekly changes on the water. I do about a 25% water change each week. there's just a decent amount of algae growing, and the shrimp really seem to like that. So rather than get rid of all the algae, I just let it kind of grow. And so we're just going to kind of let them do their thing. So what I'm hoping to be doing over the next couple weeks is taking this tank apart and starting anew a little bit. Not completely, but really sorting through every single shrimp, getting all the fry into the correct tanks. I'll probably hang on to snails, get the Cory catfish with my other pygmy and dwarf Corys in a different tank. Kind of just do a sprucing up, get rid of some of these plants so it'll be easier to cull in the future, and just really start fresh, get some good breeding going. So I'm going to be documenting that over my next couple videos, so hopefully you'll come back and watch those, because it should be pretty exciting. I'll probably do a time-lapse video and we'll go from there. Well, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe, because I'm just beginning on this journey of YouTube and shrimp and fish. I've got other tanks that I eventually will do projects on, so hopefully everybody will come and watch those, and I appreciate you checking this out. Thanks.